Hello, my name is Jay McIntosh. I'm doing my project on interpersonal communications, HSER 508, at Liberty University. Changing slide. Research confirms that communication is integral for any relationship, and a deficiency in this skill can ruin relationships. Changing slide. What is communication? Stewart defines communication as a continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning making. Ants are a good example of collaborative, efficient, and open communication in their complex society. Changing slide. My introduction. As individuals and groups, we are participants in an ongoing process of communication that we do not completely control. However, we are social animals constructing meaning together, and communication is the name of the ongoing process, says Stewart. Changing slide. Interpersonal communication is a subset of the general processes of communication. It is the kind of communication that happens when the people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personnel. Interpersonal communication is to inhale and exhale. It happens when there is both talking and listening, sending and receiving, giving off cues and taking them in. Changing. There are three levels of listening according to Burley out, and most people listen at all three levels during the course of the day. My overarching goal, OAG, is to improve my listening skills so that I listen at level 1 in all situations. Level 1 listening requires listening from the heart and being empathetic to others' feelings, thoughts, and put my own thoughts aside to give full focus and attention to listening. Changing. Reaching my overarching goal depends on my enlarging the conversation. Carbonell says that enlarging the conversation entails developing skills that enhance the quality of our communication. Changing. By identifying my specific behavioral blend and background have influenced my way of communicating, I can utilize this information to improve and develop empathetic listening skills. My background and behavioral blend have influenced my conversation positively and negatively. In relational matters, my anger gets in the way of good communication, and in our family we listen with divided attention. My behavior blend is ID. This is what is expected of me. People expect me to be determined and inspirational, and control and decisive. On the other hand, this is me. My CSI says I am passive and active, but sometimes rub people the wrong way with fault-finding and critical attitude. Changing. The positive of my behavior blend is that I am caring, thinking, and problem-solving. On the negative, I am stubborn and judgmental. I tend to let my emotions control me, but yet I have a sweet and sensitive demeanor. Changing. On the Discovery Health Assessment, I scored 88 out of 100. This assessment indicated that I am insightful or good at interpreting other people's words and actions. Changing. Barriers in my interpersonal context. Conflict with the public me and the private me may cause problems with my relationships. Being judgmental and opinionated and unbending, I have flawed focusing skills. Self-disclosure is a problem for me as well. Flat brain tango. Changing. How to solve my interpersonal barriers. Implementing conflict with the public me and private me requires me to accept who I am and most things about myself. However, I can alter my behavior. According to Carbonell, I also need to recognize why I act or react the way I do. There are my strengths so that I can avoid my weaknesses. In relational matters, I need to get control of my temper by redirecting my actions as outlined in my personality profile analysis. Make good choices, realizing that I can control my behavior. Changing. Where I tend to be judgmental, I need to guard against it by heeding the passage James 3:17 that says, "Wisdom that comes from God is first of all pure. It is peace, loving, gentle at all times, and willing to yield to others." To solve my flawed focusing, I need to give eye contact, put away my phone, and get off the computer. Changing. Disclosure in any relationship, whether it is personal or professional, needs to be balanced. My level of openness in any relationship depends on the person and circumstances. Neither relationship is open completely, as defined by Stewart. According to my blend and personality tendencies, I do not respond well to others' disclosures efforts. Not do I dislike disclosure. This is what I will work on. Changing. The flat brain syndrome in Peterson's book, Why Don't We Listen Better, was about me and my interpersonal communications with my family members, especially my father. When upset with family members, I become flat-brained, and that has my thinking, seeing, and hearing skewed. Peterson says that this can be helped by listening, clarifying my thinking, and reduce the emotional disturbances. Changing. Noise pollution. There are internal noises that interfere with communication. Hear what you want to hear. Personal problems and boredom. Changing. Noise pollution. External distractions of good listening are talker not speaking loud enough, talker's mannerisms and appearances, interruptions and phone calls. Changing. As Peterson's advises, I will have to bite my tongue to keep the negativity out. Using the talker listening card will help me to listen without trying to solve the problem, give advice, or dance the flat brain tango. In fact, I am looking to start my journey of listening and talking without judging, accusing, or attacking others and family members. I intend to practice following listening skills as well. Look at the speaker. Have a nice quiet mouth. Listen to what he or she is saying. Repeat it back, and check to make sure the message is correct. Change. Conclusion. Let every man be quick to hear and slow to speak. Listening is a communication tool. Speaking and listening and speaking go hand in hand. No oral communication can be effective without proper listening. The recipient of the message must be attentive and receptive. According to Graeber, listening strengthens us and strengthens our relationships. Being listened to creates within and around the individual a sense of coherence, safety, belonging, and value. Empathetically immersing oneself into the emotional life of the client allows a clinician to experience firsthand the frustrations, fears, and fantasies of the client. As such, empathy is not merely placing oneself in the shoes of another, but wearing the shoes of the other as the other would wear and experience them. Change.